We're back for yet another preview. It's the European derby, as I might have. I was about to say some might say, no, I'm probably the only one there. But yeah, it is England versus Netherlands. The Champions Trophy spot up for grabs. We've got a Netherlands fan here. We've got two experts here. So lots of fun to be had right now. Nikhil bhai, hello, how are you? Good, Kirat, how are you doing? Kal ka match, matlab, are you guys over it? Because I still am not. I was on live blog, but agar nahi bhi hota, I would have been just as heartbroken. Gurkirat, like, what do you have to say about that, man?
I'm just happy that I wasn't watching it ball by ball, and I was out somewhere, because if I would have been watching wall by wall, I would have probably, pulled my hair out. Uh, I feel gutted for Afghanistan, and I still can't believe that how they've managed to lose that game. I mean, we've seen Afghanistan bottle games before, but this is just something else. And yeah, Maxwell's day, and probably the best innings in ODI history, let alone World Cup history, or if not the best, then at least amongst the top three. Because yeah, it was just something else. You felt that okay, Australia from somewhere will have a partnership, but the runs were so much that maybe that partnership wouldn't suffice, and then you expected that at some point of time Cummings will also hit and take some load of Maxwell, but it's just the big show all along, and yeah, just phenomenal whatever happened yesterday.
Definitely. And Nikhil, by coming to today's game, like I mentioned earlier, Champions Trophy
Thanks.
spot up for grabs. Of course, भाई आप टेंशन मत लो, हम नेदरलैंड्स के फैन हैं, इतना भी नहीं बात करेंगे. मैं हूँ आरसीबी का फैन, बट उससे ज्यादा नेदरलैंड्स का फैन हूँ. विकास भाई, तुमने भी सुन लिया, अभी बताओ, कट करके डाल देना. But yeah, coming to the game again, England not the greatest of tournaments whatsoever. They've lost their last five games. They're coming into this game with really a significant lack of confidence, to say the least. Not so much the case with Netherlands. They have been competent. They have been very organized, as Hardik had put it in the match preview that's up on cricket.com. So guys, do check that out as well. What are you expecting today?
Looks like a good surface. Expecting plenty of changes for England. Gus Atkinson to play. No Mark Wood. No Ben Stokes. Play Harry Brook. Possibly no Livingston as well. I don't know. Maybe last day out for Moeen Ali in this format. Who knows? So could very well see a change of personnel in terms of look ahead for England, because that is what is needed. Yeah, Champions Trophy it is online, but you'll have to pick the best possible side to be able to beat, and you'll think that they should be able to do it. But I won't mind if Netherlands win as well.
Won't mind क्या होता है निखिल भाई? You should mind if England wins. 100%
कल
we
के
want it.
बाद कल के बाद I have lost whatever little hope I had of good things happening.
Sachi, man. Again, I know that we'll probably keep bringing yesterday's game back, but that's the kind of game it was, because I'm 100% sure that's the kind of game. Maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, we'll probably think about it and say, where we were, what we were doing when we saw that happen, because that sort of a knock it was from Maxwell. Of course, yeah. Coming back to the game in terms of what's not worked for England.
England batting.
Okay, and what do you think? Is
What's
that a good
not
sign
for England? See, it is just apt that you said what's not for England, and I said England bat. So I think summary. That is a summary.
Yeah, and again, England batting ke saath, one thing that we have been bringing up since the mega preview that we did over a month ago was Joe Root's performance in the power play, something he's not been able to do so in the last 4 years, something that he's not been able to contend with in the last 4 years, rather. And this power play, I mean, this World Cup, it has been no different. He has been dismissed, 5 times, if I'm not wrong, in the power play, the most for a non-opener. Nikhil bhai, like, again, what do you put this down to? It can't be some technical deficiency that suddenly popped up, right?
No, but maybe it's also getting, I wouldn't say exposed, but coming up very early against the new ball, because those numbers are substantial. I mean, this is just for this innings, this World Cup, that is कि आप 5 बार out हो गए हो 6 innings में in the first 10. Average of 6 is not something that will sit well with Root. But again, you look at all those dismissals. There is a LW on the stumps. There is an inside. There are a few unlucky dismissals. But again, you'll get them when you play the new ball. So I think getting too early in the first 5 overs is never going to be helpful for anyone. आप कोई भी form में हो, so it leaves you vulnerable to getting more good deliveries, and he's gotten them. Pune could just be the venue where he can just forget all of that, hopefully Malan and Besto can give them a good start, and then Joe Root can do Joe Root things because he will be crucial. I don't see him going anywhere. A crucial cog in that batting order, and they need him to score runs.
100% that. And Gurkirat Butler in the toss has also spoken about how this match is crucial for them to qualify for the Champions Trophy. So clearly they also are looking at that as well, and not just the immediate World Cup. Something that's sort of been a tendency with England and Australia. They tend to sort of think about what's going to happen down the line rather than, what's happening right now in the present. But yeah, coming back to the game, Gurkirat, Nikhil Bhai mentioned about Root's struggles in the power play. What also won't help him is the fact that Netherlands have been equally competent in the power play. They have been good at taking early wickets. In fact, if we talk about good starts with the new ball, of course, who but South Africa, with the new ball right at top, of course, Netherlands then second. There have been 4 instances of them taking 2 or more wickets in the first 10 overs. You think Logan van Beek and, of course, Paul van Meeken, do you expect them to, be able to make some early inroads today against England?
भाई साहब,
जब से अवनीश वापस आया है, the streak has been broken and
restarted.
it's developing into a negative streak. See, it's not just about the Pacers because Netherlands have also used their spinners well in the power play to get wickets. Aryan Dutt has been very, very good, barring a game. Or I thought last game was when he wasn't economical, but otherwise he's been economical. He's been taking wickets. They've had Colin Ackerman also come in and bowl a few tight overs. So uh, it's not just the paces. And again, today will depend upon what kind of pitch it is. Who knows that maybe they might give the ball to Aryan Dutt to bowl to Malan, even though Malan doesn't struggle against off-spin, but just to see if there's any help. So it could be challenging. In the preview there was an idea that could Root bat at 4. With Brook coming in, I think they can experiment with that idea. But I just want to say I really don't like the changes that have been made because they've dropped Liam Livingston. If I don't know if he's injured because or he's been dropped, but I think if you had to leave out between Moeen Ali and Liam Livingston, you should have left out Moeen Ali because you have to look at the future. You have to look at who's the player who's going to be a part of your setup now, 5 years from now. Moeen Ali is 36, and Moeen Ali's bowling average in India is 382. He's only picked 1 wicket in 10 innings of bowling across 65 overs. And after the shot that he played in last game, I really don't know what is there to gain. Like you could understand him not getting starts, but he got start in the last game, threw his wicket away. So, and he's bowled, far less than what Livingston has done. So probably could have dropped, Livingston, Moeen Ali instead of Livingston.
Definitely, Nikhil, by like that actually makes us think, right? Because it's not like the English batting order is suffering from a lack of left-handedness. They have 2 left-handers, so it's not like Moeen Ali is bringing in something unique. He's not really done much more than giving them decent starts. But I mean decent starts as in having a decent start rather. Bowling में तो गुरकीरत भाई ने already बोल दिया 380 के ऊपर का average है उनका. So why are they sticking to him? Like, is there any cricketing merit to it, or is it something beyond cricket?
Why is Ben Stokes playing? What are they gaining by playing Ben Stokes? He had retired. He retired. He unretired for this World Cup. They have no chance in this World Cup. And if they are still going to depend on him to come good, to have a chance at Champions Trophy, will it handle him there? No. So again, I don't know what the logic there is.
By the way, Avnish अभी कैमरा से झांक के चिल्लाएगा, अरे क्लच प्लेयर भाई, क्लच प्लेयर.
अरे पर क्लच प्लेयर में जो ब्रेक लग गया है एक टूर्नामेंट को, उसको क्या, तो एक्सेलरेट करने के लिए भी यू नीड एवरीथिंग टू वर्क टुगेदर. सो
इंग्लैंड सॉरी टू कमेंट, बट इंग्लैंड की कार ऐसी है कि क्लच दबाने के बाद ना गियर चेंज हो रही है ना एक्सेलरेटर दबाने के बाद कार आगे, क्लच ही खराब हो रखा है अभी. सो there are bigger problems with the engine itself than to worry about who's clutch, who's brake, who's accelerate.
Tell me you're an engine without telling me you're an engine. Answer.
See, the point there is with Liam Livingston also, you still get 2 facets. With Moeen Ali, you still have an option of getting 2 facets. आपको बेन स्टोक्स के साथ वो नहीं मिल रहा. आपको उसका एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए. सब बात करेक्ट है, but this is not going to help you ahead. So again, it is just a call that they have taken. Maybe, as I said, it is the last that we might see of Moeen, which is why he is playing. So let's see how that pans out, because I'm reading there are chances of rain in the second innings, which could, I don't know, really make it fun and funky in the second game.
All for it. And for what it's worth, even tomorrow's game between New Zealand and Sri Lanka in Bangalore is expected to be washed out, which could potentially mean that Pakistan could actually make it to the semis. But yeah, all of that chat later. Let's just take a few comments before we move on to the first segment. Pranav Anand, of course, with the first comment for the day. He says, would comparing England's batting average strike rate with respect to the amount of movement available in the past 2-3 years versus how they fared pre 2019 under similar conditions help analyze their performance. But again, itna moment to rani this World Cup, something we've also spoken about. Why do you think this, like Nikhil Bhai Gurkira, do you think there's any merit to this argument that Pranav's making?
There is merit, of course, because then you can see, if they've improved on their struggles. Because you felt between the period from 2015 to 2019, there were games that whenever the ball moved, they were in trouble. There was a series in England between South Africa and England where I think South Africa had England all out for around 100 or something, or for a low score. I don't remember the exact score, but it happened on a few occasions. With this side in the World Cup, purely it's been a case of you know backing the wrong players maybe, and then uh, expecting just players to come together and perform without having adequate game time or playing together. And this is something we had discussed in the preview, that one of the weaknesses of their bowling could be, especially the pacers, is that they've not played more than 5 games in India and they've not had great numbers. So I think this campaign for England is probably a case study in terms of not just relying on reputations in the shortest format, and for those reputations to straight away deliver in ODIs. I think England's campaign, just the way how they selected people and everything, could be a good study in terms of uh, looking at how, like I said, about reputations, and the other is not taking a format lightly and understanding that there are multiple facets of skill sets both in batting and bowling which are required in ODIs. See, in T20s you can get away while doing defensive bowling. In ODIs you won't. In T20 your defensive batting is not needed as much, but in ODIs you are required to graft. So this could be a good case study in that, because I don't think conditions have been that extreme that they should just be found wanting.
Nikhil
And
Bhai, what about you?
just for all the talks about the bowling not having bowled enough, it is the batting that is the problem.
Yeah.
Forget the bowling. The bowling has hardly done problem. The batting has just not come through, and all these players have played enough cricket in subcontinent as well to tell you. David Malan plays everywhere. He's played franchise leagues across the nations, and so much so for Butler, Livingston, Moeen Ali, and Bairstow as well to not just turn up. So again, as Paji said, a lot of skill sets needed, and you just can't go by the names thinking "Okay, but they'll just find a way." It doesn't happen like that.
Fair enough that. And Divyanu rather says, why do no one answer my question? भाई question तो आप पूछ लो यार, हम जवाब तो खुशी खुशी दे देंगे. He's like Teddy Paji Gurkirat, at least you answer. Wow, that's an interesting nickname. But what do you want him to answer, Divyanu? Like, आप सवाल तो पूछो. सवाल से पहले जवाब क्या देंगे? But anyways, right now let's quickly move on to the first segment, which of course is key battles. Yep, key battles. We know how England has struggled, or rather, England's batting has struggled in the power play. We know Netherlands have been good in the power play. Gurkirat, key battles in terms of, I know you don't like to talk about specific names, but in terms of tactical insights, what are you looking at right now for this game?
So beyond the obvious, which is England's top three versus Netherlands bowling in the first 10, because that is where Netherlands have been good and England have been very poor. I feel one other key battle in terms of personnel would be Scott Edwards versus Adil Rashid, because Adil Rashid has been really the biggest brightest spot, I suppose, for England in this World Cup. I think after the first two games he's really bowled well, and he's been the only one who's looked like providing some control to England and being someone who can deliver with those breakthroughs. Did it in that South Africa game, did it in the last game, bowled well versus India. So I think Scott Edwards, and maybe who knows if Wesley Baresi can, stay uh, for the first 10-15, and then is on the crease when Adil Rashid has come in. Maybe those two batters versus Adil Rashid could really help Netherlands be in the game to chase whatever score there is. But provided the score is not a lot, is if England really bat well and get to 330 plus, then it could, or maybe even 300 plus, it could be very, very difficult for Netherlands batters.
True, and that's a very good call. That given how Scott Edwards has been really prolific against spin. In fact, if I'm not wrong, he has the best record against the sweep shot with the sweep shot rather against spin in the
Yeah.
last 3-4
Also,
years.
he's coming off three consecutive 50s versus England in the series that happened last year. Been some time, but still still displays that his skill set versus spin is good enough, which is why I felt that last game he could have been the X factor for not the X factor. I thought he was key for Netherlands, but he came later and he was dismissed the first ball, so it was just chaotic.
Interesting. And Nikhil bhai, what about you in terms of, I mean, again, not matchups, but in terms of tactics, what are you looking at? Any interesting insights there?
Well, England are a side that have lost most wickets to spin, which is something that you did not quite expect of them. Again, as an AAK, it is they played on turners, so and Netherlands have enough of them. So today could be a great day to have Ackerman, Aryan Dutt, Roller Phantom away, everybody to be playing good part. I am really shocked that in the last game, Colin Ackerman came only towards the end. I think it was a completely off game in that regard for Netherlands because they had a lot of runouts as well. They didn't feel like a unit that you usually associate them to be in terms of very close knit and not doing basics wrong. So difficult game in that sense, but David Malan has played off spin well in ODIs, but not so much in T20s. So that matchup early on could really set the tone क्योंकि बेस्टों को runs नहीं मिले. And if Malan and Joe Root fall early, then you are again down to the similar Ben Stokes and inshallah kind of batting कि भाई कुछ किया Ben भाई ने तो ठीक है नहीं तो कुछ नहीं. So I think spinners will hold the key. I'm hoping we see another homework masterclass from Scott Edwards.
Fingers crossed on that. Meanwhile, Divyanu has come back, with his or her question. I'm not sure. So just playing safe there. He says, which team has more skills, Afghan or Dutch? Nikhil bhai, what do you think in terms of skills if you had to rate both the teams?
See, I don't think it is as simple as just rating skills. What you will say is, if you want to just be very general and over from upper say, you will say Afghanistan have a better spin attack in terms of having mystery associated with it, having more options associated with that. But Netherlands have probably better pacers with better control who are able to extract anything that's there from the surface and are able to hold their line. So I think that could just be in terms of bowling the biggest difference between the two sides. So that is that. With batting, I think I don't know there is much to separate the sides. They all have different type of skill sets. You can't compare a Max O'Dowd with an Ibrahim Zadran. So no, maybe batting में मेरे को सूझ नहीं रहा है. Paji, if you want to add there.
I just think their batters have been more consistent. Afghanistan batters, you did not expect Rahmat and Shahidi to have the kind of tournament that they did, and then Omarzai has been, one differentiator. Uh, Ikram Ali Hill, when he came in, he had a very good knock versus England. Since then, he's not really got the chance to act. So, you feel that Afghanistan, due to their experience, are slightly better prepared. Uh, but one thing that Afghanistan would love to have is Scotland's tactical nous, because that has been missing quite often. So I'd still say that maybe skill wise Afghanistan are ahead, and there are considerable reasons for it. They qualified for the World Cup directly. Netherlands had to come through the qualifiers, but on the tactical front, Netherlands are better. And maybe with time, if Netherlands also get the same kind of exposure that Afghanistan get, they could probably mature into a a better side or a side like Afghanistan much earlier than what Afghanistan have done. So maybe that is possible. But yeah, on the pace front, Nikhil's right, and Afghanistan's spin attack is better than many of the top nations right now. Forget,
Yeah.
better than Netherlands.
Yeah, I mean, Shahidi, in fact, if I'm not wrong, in the press conference, pre-match press conference, in fact, went on to say that they have the best spin attack in the
Yeah,
world right now.
they're easily at this point of time. You would have to say their spin attack is among the top three, if not the best, easily among the top
Still,
three.
still they could not get Pat Cummins out, not even create a single chance. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ो.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Like we said before, I mean, time and again, we'll probably be going back to the game. But yeah, that's the kind of game it was. Yeah, let's quickly move on to the next segment, which, of course, is X Factor. Gurkirat, a lot of all-rounders in both sides. Come to think of it, I was about to say just England, but no, Netherlands are also packed with all-round options. X Factor, agar bolna hai, to who are you going with today?
Two middle order bats, Harry Brook and Scott Edwards, and the all rounders of England. At this point of time, I don't have much faith or trust in them. I've spoken on this enough.
इतना शॉर्टर स्वीप था कि अक्षय म्यूट पे बात कर रहा है.
नहीं एग्जैक्टली मैं ही चौंके. अरे भाई गुरकिरत भाई इतनी जल्दी कैसे खत्म कर लिए भाई. थोड़ा और स्कॉट एडवर्ड्स और हैरी ब्रूक बोलते ही खत्म.
No, but I spoke of Scott Edwards.
Yeah.
With regards to Harry Brook, I think he showed very good maturity in that game versus Afghanistan. For him to bat as long, I did not expect him to do well in that game. And I think today the pitch is such it would be to his liking. And if he has, say, Malan batting with him or has one other batter batting with him where the onus is not on him to attack spin, he could really play a good knock.
Interesting. Nikhil bhai, what about you? Because
against off spin, he's not had that much troubles. It is the away going spin against which he's had a lot of troubles. So
fair. Since Gurkirat's, completely stayed clear of all those all-rounders, what about you, Nikhil bhai? Are you also sort of treading the same path, or are you thinking differently?
नहीं, we are all-rounder FC for life. So my X factor, I don't know if he even qualifies as X factor, but it will be between Stokes and Willie. I've seen Stokes bowl here. Matlab, I mean, in practice he's been bowling. So not sure whether he'll eventually bowl or he will not. But from the looks of it, he may bowl. So Stokes, if not Stokes doesn't bowl, so David Willey, because I think Netherlands have had issues versus left arm pace. So David Willey will obviously be standing there right in front of them with the new ball. And again, second innings है, बारिश भी है, so the conditions could just aid and make it even more better for David Willey to come in and have an impact. So that is one. And from Netherlands, I think it's been a while since we saw a delayed special, Bas the lead special. So it's due. He's bowling first, and again, last game also he was not used with the ball. I have no clue why. Hopefully he's fit in that sense to bowl. तो क्योंकि पॉल वैन बीकरन रूलर फैंडम हो गए, इन सबको पहले हमने एक बार पिक कर लिया. तो आई थिंक इट्स बीन टाइम दैट वी हैवंट हैड अ Bas the lead special. So please take it away.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope we have a Bas the leader special, because yeah, he has been due a decent knock since the first game. I don't think he's gone 50 plus in any of the innings.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can always hope for at least law of averages to catch up. Chinmay Adria, meanwhile, he's just adamant that Nikhil bhai answer his questions. तब से बेचारे बहुत सारे सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, एक के बाद एक पूछ लेते हैं सब. Nikhil bhai, who would you pick, Stokes or Wokes? That's short and crisp. What do you think?
See, you'll have to pick both. I don't think you can pick one here. More so because England are batting first and you expect Stokes to get to bat for sure. And अगर वो bowling practice कर रहा है, तो अगर वो bowling practice कर रहा है, तो he'll definitely be bowling at a crucial stage. And Wokes, again, he contributes with the bat. We saw that in the last game as well. So I don't think with England, it is rather easier to take a risk with their batter than to take a risk with their bowler. So again, if you are sure कि वो second bowling में नहीं कुछ करेगा, तो then of course the choice is easier for you कि भाई you directly go to Ben Stokes. But if you feel कि नहीं wicket जाएंगे, तो फिर then you should try and have both.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, Divyanu comes back with another question. He says, by Bob it seemed, Nikhil bhai, does wobble team happen with the old ball? Saw Umar Shah making use of it yesterday in his initial overs. I feel both of them have, both of them have seen cricket enough to be able to talk about it. Gurkira, let's start with you. I know he's asked Nikhil bhai. We'll of course take his sort of inputs as well. But what do you think with the old ball wobble team? Possible, not possible?
I think it is possible, but it just comes down to what is the quality of the ball and how pronounced is the seam. Because sometimes you've seen when the ball gets softer, even the seam isn't as pronounced. So comes down to that mostly. Uh, and but we've mostly seen bowlers try and use it with the newish ball. When the ball starts to go soft, the priority is to sort of maintain one side so you could get reverse, because the ball also gets lighter then. So, and if with the wobble seam, if you're trying to bowl, there's a possibility that the ball could land up on the surface that you are, trying to maintain the shine on. So if there is nothing, you could really lose out on whatever reverse swing also that is there. So not sure if it can happen, but I think one of the reasons why teams don't try it with the older ball is because they are afraid of losing the shine on one side, which will, because if both the sides go soft, then you will not get reverse either.
Fair enough. And before we go to Nikhil bhai for his inputs, guys, make sure you're hitting the like button. पता है बोला नहीं अब तक, but बोला नहीं तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि नहीं करना है. Please make sure you've hit the like button if you haven't already, and also please, please, please make sure you've subscribed to us if you haven't already. It'll do us a world of good. And Nikhil bhai, coming back to the point that Gurkirat was making, what do you think? Do you agree with what Gurkirat had to say in terms of wobble seam with the old ball?
Yeah, pretty much. And again, uh, you haven't seen a lot of actually teams use it even otherwise. Matlab, maybe they don't feel the need for it, but I still think will the if the sides are bowling first, आपको फिर भी वो ज़्यादा दिखता है in terms of being used. But in the second innings, I don't remember seeing a lot of that being used. So maybe that is something to keep an eye on. Because see, what is happening in second innings is most teams are doing it well with the ball in the first power play itself. So the game is getting set up there, and then spinners are coming in and closing it out. तो वहाँ पे फिर you are not seeing a lot of thrillers जहाँ पे आपको last ball तक दिखे कि है कि नहीं. I think Stark did use it well in the Dharamshala game, but I'm not sure. So that is something definitely to keep an eye on. Good thing to keep an eye on actually.
Fair enough. And yeah, in case you guys are joining us right now, just to set more context, the game is happening between the bottom two ranked teams, Netherlands and England. But of course, there's a lot more context than just the World Cup right now. The winner potentially qualifies for the Champions Trophy that's going to be held in 2025. We're still not sure where will it be held. Again, Pakistan are currently the host, but yeah, fair to assume कि वहाँ पे शायद नहीं होगा. But Nikhil bhai, let's just talk a bit more about Netherlands. They've had phenomenal might be a bit of a stretch, but they've had a fantastic tournament in terms of the performance that they've able to come up with in terms of being able to punch above their weights. They've been doing really good. And Logan Van Beek, of course, in particular, since, oops, my bad, wrong graphic. Yeah, there we go. 122 runs, 10 wickets. He's been as good as it gets, for an all-rounder. Unfortunately, this is the kind of tournament that they expected of Barcelona, but he's not too far. Again, he's ranked third right now. If you look at that, 117 runs, 11 wickets. Probably a bit more runs would have done Netherlands a bit more good. But yeah, it is what it is. If you were a part of the Netherlands think tank, what next after the World Cup? Like, how do you look at this? Because they don't play enough games. How do you groom your players? What do you think they can do?
I think they'll hopefully try and get a lot of tours for A tours, which I'm hoping that the bigger sides will also be taking care of that, like they played Karnataka just before the start of this World Cup. So you would want to have that also being done so that they are spending enough time competing with people. And again, see, FTP is something that's pre-decided, but I'm sure there will be holes and gaps for teams to fill. And after this kind of World Cup, I won't put it past people to go up to them and say, "Okay, who no, let's play a series here." And I don't think it will be a win. I don't think it will not be a win-win call for both sides. So I think it works for you as well and it works for them as well. You can host them, you can go there as well. That could even be better if you're able to go there. So that's what we expect, and which is why the game is even more crucial. If they're able to get a win, they are qualifying for Champions Trophy. It makes it even better for them in terms of preparation as well.
Some
Definitely.
countries,
India.
some countries
Yeah.
could, some countries could even offer, Dutch player citizenship. and ask them to come for the play for them.
जोर जोर से बोल के स्कीमें बता रहा है. But just coming back to what Nikhil was saying, I mean, India जो इतने सारे charities, you know, खोल के रखे हैं, श्रीलंका, वेस्ट इंडीज हर साल खेल रहे हैं भाई. एक आधा सीरीज यहाँ पे भी खेलो, आयरलैंड, नेदरलैंड्स में, उनका भी भला हो जाएगा. अपने लोग तो देखेंगे, अपने लोग इंडिया वर्सेस पापुआ न्यू गिनी भी आराम से देख लेंगे, अपने को तो टेंशन नहीं.
Ireland to see they've played, and yeah, you're right. There will be updates about it being a beautiful gesture.
Exactly. At least, you know, for that, you know, perception, just for that sake. I know it might not be truly from the bottom of your heart, but we couldn't care lesser. कम से कम खेल लो, because उनका भी it'll be great for cricket in general. That's all I'll say. Like there's no other way of putting it. Meanwhile, Chinmay Atreya, वो शायद लगता है निखिल भाई से अपना टीम बनवा के यहाँ से निकलने वाले हैं, because he's asking captain pick Nikhil. Let's just stop it at that. Let's not get too much. बेचारे निखिल भाई
नहीं कोई बात नहीं, वैसे भी 2 बच गया है तो क्या ही कर सकते हैं, पर बात तो कर सकते हैं.
ठीक है. If you're interested, then definitely do share. What do you think in terms of captaincy picks today for the England-Netherlands game? How are you looking at it?
So I've gone with, as they said, the all-rounders in Baz the lead as well. And again, one of the top 3 in different sides. I don't think it's a game where you can call it confidently कि भाई best run मारेगा या root run मारेगा या Malan run मारेगा. So you have to take your call. Again, my fail-safe strategy is to go with all-rounders because you get contributions from both sides. So 2 wicket और 20 run भी दे दिया तो भी किसी ने 50 मारा तो it can cover up. So that is the fail-safe logic there. Almost worked out yesterday, but yeah, some people had different luck. So sorry, I cannot see. I don't know when was the last time I genuinely felt so hollow, you know, about a side not being able to make through, because I felt you couldn't have had a better platform and a better team to do it against. You know, Australia 91 for 7. He gave you 2 chances, and then see, it's not that you are taking a Mickey out of someone by if he's not able to walk. You know, this is where you want to bowl to him or that. But if you try and you don't succeed, it's still okay. But my problem and the biggest regret that I feel, so I can imagine how much the players must be feeling, is he try nahi kara. It did not even occur, or it did not even click. And it is a very, very harsh lesson. I am actually feeling bad that it's a very young side. And for them to experience that so early in their cricketing, see, yes, Rashid, Mujib and all have been playing for years, but for them to experience that so early, it will be so sinking feeling. Well, you just want to bury yourself somewhere and not come out. Mujib, with that catch, I think impact fielding substitution हुआ तो सबसे पहला 2 player थिक्शिना और मुजीब ही रहे. It is, I don't know, yaar. I just hope they find a way and have a good game against South Africa. Sorry, I didn't want to talk about that game, but you really cannot go past it. Sorry.
Yeah, I just have one thing to say. I mean, there wasn't even an attempt by spinners to bowl wide, because that is what Chahal has done so successfully against Maxwell. And I just think, you know, when when Maxwell started to find that boundary or 6 in every 2 overs, or, you know, 10 balls, Afghanistan started to get rattled. I thought, even with 100 runs, even when 100 runs were left, you just felt that, you know, the belief with Maxwell to win the game was far more than with Afghanistan. You just felt that. And, you know, that is where I think it just went away, because you know, like Nikhil mentioned, that Maxwell was on one leg and you were still bowling him within the stumps and he was still hitting you, and you did not even try anything else. So yeah, once he got to his 100, you just felt that Afghanistan had lesser belief that they could win. They were hoping कि a mistake will come, and Maxwell sort of knew कि now, you know, he could dictate terms, and that is what happened. And everything said and done, you really have to doff your hat to Maxwell, because this is something I don't know when you will see again. It is just crazy. It
Fair
is
enough.
just crazy.
Yeah, as an RCB fan, though, I'm not even complaining. But even then, agree with Nikhil. You would
अरे
feel bad
आरसीबी
for.
के लिए वो ये शायद भी करने वाला. अभी कभी आरसीबी को छोड़ दो, उसके आगे बढ़ो जिंदगी में.
मेरा काम है भाई, मेरा एजेंडा है, मेरा काम है आरसीबी को फंसाना. बस वो कर दिया, मैं खुश. मेरा काम खत्म वहीं पे. आपको लगता है मेरा काम है ये होस्ट करना? नहीं भाई, अपना काम है हर प्रीव्यू में आरसीबी कहीं ना कहीं लाना, बस वो हो गया. बट लेट्स नॉट एंड द इंग्लैंड नेदरलैंड्स प्रीव्यू ऑन एन अफगानिस्तान so to say. This last bit, prediction time. Gurkirat, how much do you think is England ending up with, at the end of the first innings?
288. I don't want England to run away with the game. I want them to get a score where Netherlands have a chance. So I'm going with 288.
Interesting. And Gurkirat, what about you? 288 says Gurkirat.
Gurkirat, what about you? Gurkirat says 288.
Oh, did I say Gurkirat?
Yeah.
Nikhil, right now I'm rattled by Gurkirat's short and crisp answers. इसलिए हम भी थोड़ा ऐसा. तो निखिल भाई आप बताइए.
I think and I'll hope for a 330 game and then for Netherlands to chase it down. Max out century. Cheers.
Fingers crossed for that. All right. मेरा प्रेडिक्शन तो आपको पता ही है, बस थोड़ा जिनको मैच आता है वो तो इमीडिएटली टक 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 करके बता देंगे क्या प्रेडिक्शन. टेंशन की बात है नहीं वहां पे. But it's been great bringing this preview to you guys right now. England have already started their innings. In fact, 1 over down, the 6 for no loss. So let's quickly let you guys also to get back to the game. We'll be back here, hopefully not before 10. Let's hope it's another thriller, it's another 100 over game where we get to see Max Stoddard score a century and win the game for Netherlands. Like Nikhil bhai mentioned, आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर दही सारे वो जो भी होता है सब कुछ. Let's hope that's the game. And Gurkirat, thank you so much. Nikhil bhai, thank you so much. We'll see you guys at the end of the game. Until then, have a great game. Bye-bye.